Chronicles of the Grim Reaper, The Stitch That Held Him, by Griz Calderon. He was born in the hills of Pennsylvania, the eldest of 3 brothers. The land was a mix of forest and farmland, where seasons shaped the rhythm of life. Spring meant planting, summer meant long days under the sun, and autumn meant the sharp scent of wood smoke in the air. Winters were quiet but hard, when every bit of food and warmth had to be earned. From a young age, Theodore carried the weight of responsibility. He could repair a fence before he was tall enough to see over it. He learned the feel of good soil between his fingers, the sound of rain on the barn roof, and the quiet pride of a day's work done right. War was something that happened far away, written in headlines and heard in radio broadcasts that filled the kitchen at night. But as the years passed, the names of boys from nearby towns began to appear in black print, boys who would never return. Theodore didn't see himself as a fighter, but he had a deep sense of duty. He enlisted before the letter could arrive, telling him he had no choice. Before he left home, he had a photograph sewn directly onto the sleeve of his uniform, a careful square of stitching around its edges to keep it secure. The photograph had been taken on a quiet afternoon in the fields. It wasn't just the image itself, but the life it represented, the reason to keep moving forward. The cloth around it was worn smooth from the times his fingers had brushed against it. Months later, he stood in the swell of the English Channel, crammed into the steel belly of a landing craft heading for Utah Beach. The air was sharp with salt, exhaust, and the scent of wet metal. The water was choppy, each wave slamming against the hull and sending spray over the men inside. They didn't speak much. Only glances passed between them, small nods, the kind you give when words would only make the silence heavier. The Reaper was already there. He stood on the gray waves without sinking, the wind passing through his robes as if they were smoke. He moved through moments folded in on themselves, able to stand beside every man and still be at the shore, waiting. The ramp dropped. Theodore ran. Sand exploded under gunfire, shrapnel bit into the air, and the deafening chaos swallowed the beach. His breath came fast, boots heavy with seawater, the photograph brushing his arm with each step. He thought of the fields at home, green and quiet, and forced himself forward. The Reaper bent time to meet him. When the bullet found Theodore, the sound of the beach dulled to a distant hum. The crash of the waves, the roar of the guns, gone. Only the steady presence of the Reaper remained. The Reaper stood over him, tall and silent, his form casting no shadow yet dimming the light around them. His gaze lowered to the photograph stitched into the sleeve. The threads frayed slightly at the edges from months of wear. He touched it lightly, as if acknowledging the life it symbolized, then pressed it back into place over Theodore's heart. Theodore's pain ebbed instantly. His breathing slowed, the weight of fear sliding away as warmth filled the space it had occupied. When the Reaper extended his hand, Theodore took it without hesitation. The beach was gone. The war was gone. And as the Reaper led him forward, all that remained was peace. The end.